should we be? Madison, Wisconsin, and the host site of the 2021 NOBULL CrossFit Games. It is the final event of day 2 for the age group athletes in some age groups. Tanya Wagner is the 2009 CrossFit Games champion. Amanda Krenz down on the field. Joel Gadet, the rest of our crew. Kick it over to the men's 40 and 44-year-old, or 42, 44-year-old age group here for event 6. Tanya, it's a sprint.
It sure is. 3 little movements here, but they're going to be painful. 30 calories on the row for the men, followed by 15 clean and jerks at 155 pounds, and then 1 big old sled push all the way down the field with a sled weighing 150 pounds total.
Lane assignments. Nathan Beveridge is in lane 10 out of CrossFit Fraser Valley. He was your overall leader coming into the day. Qualified out of the age group online qualifier in 17th place, but has been downright phenomenal since a pair of top 2 finishes on the first 2 events. Nathan Beveridge putting himself in position heading into the 3rd and final day on Thursday. Lanes 11 through 19, Guido Trinidad out of Peak 360 CrossFit in lane 11. Spencer Whiteley, the veteran of the British military, competing in lane 19. Again, this all starts on the rower, then half grace, and then the sled push.
These athletes will have 5 minutes to complete this, and that sprint, they're not going to need the full 5 minutes.
"60 seconds till start here." Tanya, this is that uneasy feeling where you're just sitting on the rower. You can't grab the paddle, so you're just sitting there trying to figure out how to get yourself through the next 45 seconds.
Because it's really all about just, there's no place to hide. It's all about just move fast and know that the pain will wait you once you cross the finish line. This is one of those that's going to hurt more when you're finished because of all you've done quickly than actually going through it. Who has the guts? Who can dig deep? Who can stay in the pain?
Nunu Costa, really good job in this swim event in the white shirt. Chance to move for him. He came into the day in 4th place overall. He was 4th in 2019 as a master, 4th in 2012 as a team, competing with CrossFit Invictus. He is a true sprinter. Now, he's not sprinting in this event, but his capacity for quick work, former track athlete at Cal Poly, and for the longest time, he was the fastest runner at the Gay Games. Nuno Costa has been phenomenal in his community.
His experience, you know, when you have that experience and you can just capitalize on the years you've had competing, knowing certain events, you're going to take your toll. You know, when you get on a rower, everyone knows how that feeling of driving through the row when you need calories, and it's only going to be one time. So you're going to push as hard as possible here, legs, full body. But, you know, there may be some technique here that I want to mention. When I see the sled that looms at the end of this event and what that's taxing, how that's going to tax your legs, just the demand you're going to have, you do need to be smart on the rower and on that barbell. The barbell is 155 pounds. You want to use your arms. You're going to want to pull a little bit more than normal and save the legs. So we're already seeing a strategy of single. Now, you just kind of want to get your pacing here. But 155 pounds for these guys is going to be a weight that is something they're used to using and moving. I'm watching a few of the athletes kind of preserve the leg. I'm wondering if going push press to kind of get more of that push and save the leg, and that could be a strategy here.
Tony Kurz is flying in the middle of your screen. Look at him go. Lieutenant Colonel Tony Kurz, member of the United States Army Warrior Fitness Team. I think he went touch and go unbroken for his first 6 or 7 reps.
I don't know if that was wise, though he has gone down now to the singles because it's smooth transitions here. When you bring that barbell back down, there's a lot of hamstring, a lot of posterior chain that's engaged, and if you can drop that, that's going to save your hamstring, save everything.
But Tony Kurz is the first one to the sled. No, he's the second one to the sled, all the way down at the opposite side of the field. Art Hamilton was the first one to the sled, but Tony Kurz has more gas in the tank.
Kurz is cruising. He's going to keep that thing moving.
Tony Kurz looking for his first event win of the year. He won in 2019 in his CrossFit Games debut. Tony Kurz just trying to make sure what he had to do next, pointing back behind. Tony Kurz across the white line in about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Art Hamilton is able to cross as well.
Couple different strategies, different styles of holding those handles. If you can stay close and with your arms bent, it's just really important that you maintain the tension, that every drive you're not moving your shoulders and you're staying stable. A lot of athletes that are going with a straight arm, it's really easy. Every drive, every step, you are progressing and moving that sled forward.
5-minute time cap here. Almost everyone is onto the sled push. Just Robbie McCord here still working out what we affectionately called half grace at the beginning, 15 clean and jerks, although the weight is different at 155 pounds.
No, he's not re-dipping at all for that jerk portion.
It's almost a press.
I'm wondering why or what's going on there.
Able to finish down in lane 2. That's Eamon Coyne, former hockey player at Ithaca College. Robbie McCord, a baseball pitcher at Avila University and NAIA school in Kansas City. Does have a history of shoulder surgeries, but is clearly capable. The capacity is there. That's all from his pitching days. Former regional athlete, though, competing out of CrossFit O'Fallon in Missouri.
We'll see what happens when he gets to that sled, but
you can see there is a clear push with, or a favorite to one side. I don't think that's the reason here, because Robbie's clearly fit. And he'll take the second here, and I think he's going to be done on the sled push.
Makes me, yeah, something's going on there.
Tony Kurz, though, does have your event win.
Tony Kurz, when he got to that sled, he just kept his head down. It was Art that actually got to the sled first, but when Kurz got to it, his head went down and that sled just moved faster as he went. There was no stopping him with the barbell. He was the only one to grip and rip and hold on for multiple reps when he first got there. And then with this sled push, really so light, he just kind of tipped it over for him. No,
he's got the best and youngest coach here. 13-year-old Elise is his coach. He, though, is with Amanda Krenz.
Tony, we were talking about strategy for this one, and you said that can be a mistake in an event like this. Why is that?
Yeah, sometimes you try to think too much about a workout like this. You convince yourself to pace at certain points. Workout like this, just go fast.
Yeah. Well, you did a great job out there. How's your body holding up at this point in the competition?
It feels like I'm 6 events in, and it feels like I'm 42 years old. But you know, I'm happy to be here. Feeling good.
All right, good job out there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations to Tony. It's funny, I saw him at a competition last year. His daughter is his quote-unquote coach. She's 13 years old. I said, what was the key for you? He said, she said go fast, so I did. I imagine something similar happened here. Tony Kurz with an event win in 2:34.69. Talked about his daughter, Elise. Quite a good weightlifter in her own right, by the way. Qualified to USAW Nationals 2 times. Just 13. Maybe we see her at the CrossFit Games when she qualifies in an age division.
You know, if it's not her competing herself, maybe it'll be her coaching someone else.
Go faster.
Doing such a good job.
Go faster. From the 40 to 44, we drop down to the 35 to 39-year-old males. The event, the workout, still the same. The weight the same. The task the same. It's all about sprinting, Tanya, on the rower and then getting yourself through the sled and the clean and jerks.
Move fast. There's nothing here that's scary except for when you put it together and ask them to go as fast as they can. 30 cals on the rower, followed by the 15 clean and jerks at 155 pounds, and then that sled push with 150-pound sled, about 120 feet across that field.
Kyle Kasperbauer is your overall leader in the men's 35 to 39 division. He's in lane 10. Adrian Conway nipping at his heels. And then Haribon really did a lot for himself because he went out and dominated the swim event, throws his name into the mix. Haribon was in 3rd place overall coming into the day. Nick Block was number 1 coming out of the age group online qualifier. Still in the mix in lane 14. Tomohiro Itaya is the only Japanese national competing at these CrossFit Games in any division. Kyle Kasperbauer, Tanya, has been a master now 4 times. This is his 4th appearance. He's won 2 of the 3 previous. There's the winning gene, is there not? Like, you know when it's go time and he knows how to put the clamps down.
Yeah, you know, he's dominating and he has in the past, and you want to hold on to that, you know, as long as you can. He's day 2 in, he's got that final event here, and when you're winning and you just want to keep that streak alive, keep going. He's really made a name for himself here in the Masters division. Everybody knew him before this, but really he's settled in, is just dominating in the Masters division.
Kyle Kasperbauer is the only athlete in CrossFit Games history to podium as an individual, as a Masters athlete, and also on a team. So he's got that distinction. That will certainly happen again as time goes on. But it's one of those things where you're still in the first 15 years of the CrossFit Games where he's the first one to plant his flag as, hey, I can do this and I can compete at every different level. And I think there's an interesting message in there as people understand and realize, hey, the elite individual, there are more paths than just that.
Yeah, there are. And, you know, we saw that with the teams, too. You know, if you're a team athlete, doesn't mean you stay as a team. So many have come over to the individual competition. There's just really shifting. Or go the other way. There's definitely options for your paths, and it's kind of like when the timing comes for where you need to go and where's the best competition for you.
20 seconds to start here. We expect this to take about 3 minutes. Don't blink. grab the paddle and go. You'll see these athletes get a couple of real quick, strong pulls just to try to get that fan going early.
We get the flywheel moving and then just really settle in. One stroke, each one you're pulling a calorie. So really just efficiency on that handle, keeping the tension through every pull, keeping that drive consistent.
And it's almost like, Don, you know what you're talking about. You said in the last heat, a lot of strong pulls. This would be an upper body row for these athletes, and you're seeing that right off the bat.
If they would be going to the pull-up bar for 100 pull-ups, it'd be a different ballgame. You'd be driving with your legs. But right now, you need to get everything you can out of your lats, out of your back, out of your hips, and you want to finish that pull big in that back position and make sure you don't shortchange your stroke.
But it's also doing it the right way, because when you row, it's always legs, body, hands, and you're seeing the athletes do that. Howell immediately off. They're not pulling too early. They're pulling big, but they're pulling late. And James Howell right to these 30 clean and jerks at 155 pounds. Minute 15 gone by. James Howell out of Spartanburg, South Carolina, CrossFit Crash. Started his week with a couple of second place finishes. He is in the top 5 coming into this final event here on day 2.
More athletes holding on to that bar, which I expected to see. And a lot of push press at the top here. Instead of re-dipping underneath and utilizing more leg, they're using the shoulders.
First athlete to push is Nick Block in lane 14. Competed on the individual side when he was last here in 2019. Got off to a rocky start yesterday, an 8th place finish and a 12th place finish, but then was second in the snatch and threw his hat back in the ring. And Nick Block, I mean, look at the lead. This is like Tia Toomey's lead when they were out here doing the sleds in event 2. He's got a 9 Matt Fraser advantage.
Yes. And that's 3 top 10 finishes for him today. That's good news.
The field is tight, and an interesting push, keeping that close to your body to get it across using all of your lean. That paid off big time for James Hobart.
A little hiccup there for a few athletes who stopped before that white line. You know, every event, that line is a little bit different. They needed to cross the white line there and get the sled across as well as their body.
And in just over about 3 minutes, almost the entire field comes across. Just 3 athletes left out on the field. Our final athlete working on the sled push is Tiziano Corriga out of Pomezia in Italy. "36 years old, out of CrossFit 545. And I think what was interesting was the way that James Hobart pushed that sled. And you take a look at the way Corriga pushes with his arms fully extended. Hobart was almost crouched over top of it like he was cruising on a shopping cart, but he was leaning into it.
Yeah, and it really all depends on that drive, arm length, the levers, like kind of everything kind of comes into play of how you do that well, because there's also a balance of how high you're pushing versus your weight, how high your hips are. So a lot comes into play, and it's not the exact same for every athlete for what works best. James Hobart would have that dialed in. He's a very detailed oriented athlete. He's been doing this a long time, coaches a lot of athletes, so he would definitely know where he needs to be to make that apparatus move as easy as possible and be as efficient as possible.
Corriga left the sled back on the blue turf, had to push it to the rest of them on the white. He does, and everyone finishes in about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. But it is Nick Block who comes away with the win here in event number 6.
James Howell was the fastest off the row. He was the first to the barbell, but it was Nick Block. When he got to the barbell, he was just able to move that 155 pounds much faster. So he got to his sled, and he was able to just coast his way across that finish line for his first event win of the competition.
Was 41st at the games back in 2019, trying to put himself on the podium as a master. He's down with Amanda Kranz.
Nick, just take me through these three movements. Let's start with the row. Where was your mindset at, and what were you doing with that?
You know, on the row with all the other athletes of this caliber, it can't be something that you're going to pace in a workout like this. So for me, it was 90 to 95% of all out. And then just that last 5 to 8 calories, kind of just bring it back a little bit so I could get right on the barbell.
Okay. And what about the lifting part?
Just with my sports background, football background, so short power workouts are kind of preferred for me. So it was grab the bar and hang on, try to get all 15, which I was fortunate enough to do.
And obviously you're just pushing the sled as fast as you can. What are your thoughts on how these tests have tested your fitness so far throughout the competition?
Yeah, so I talked to a few of the other Masters athletes back in the back, and there's a general consensus that, you know, this is the real deal this year. Not that it hasn't been in the past, but, you know, some of these are individual workouts, men and women. And so it's great that, you know, the 35 to 39 and other Masters as well have the fitness level to do some of these workouts. It's just incredible to watch and be a part of.
I was just going to say, I think it's by design, it's intentional, and it's because you guys can handle it.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think the level of athletes in the sport is continuing every year to get pushed and pushed and pushed. And now that sport's been around for quite a while, it's kind of just trickling to the older ages. And, you know, I was in the individual 2 years ago, and now I'm a Masters. And there'll hopefully be many other individuals to kind of follow that.
Thanks, Nick.
All right, thank you.
Nick Block, football background, linebacker at Northern Michigan. D2 school. Northern Michigan's a little up there, so played in some cold temperatures. It's a tough dude. Finishes in first place by about 20 seconds over James Hobart, Brandon Nolan, and Adrian Conway come in third and fourth. And saw James Howell come out hot. Does wind up with a fifth place finish. And then Harabon, who we had said did so much to help himself with the swim, the Slovakian, comes in seventh by 7/100ths of a second. Boys 16 to 17, they are coming up next here at the North Park. Final male event of the day in the age groups. A couple of minutes down the pipe. Here at the North Park, event number 6 for the boys 16 and 17 years of age. Close out day 2 of competition. There are cuts on the horizon, so these athletes want to get themselves as high as possible, try to keep their competition going as day 3, will move on tomorrow. Tanya, it starts with the row. This is a sprint. 3 minutes and change?
It's the teenagers' time, yeah. I'm excited to see how some of these athletes are going to attack this, seeing what the other gentleman just did. And we're already seeing a big pull on the row, a lot of upper body here, just kind of saving the legs a bit. It's an all-out sprint on all 3 of these movements, but if you can do anything to help yourself out, it's going to be pulling a little earlier than you typically do here on the rower.
Beefy Evan Baker pulling there. About 30 to 40 pounds added to his frame over the last year. Hiko Curtis is another guy that has grown into his body here as these 16 and 17-year-olds continue to make some moves and continue to make some gains. Hiko Curtis was great on the swim, has thrown himself into podium contention now because of his performance in the water.
He did. He has 2 other third-place finishes, a 4th and a 9th in yesterday's final event. But really for him, he's riding the momentum from the lake, and we'll see what he can do here. I anticipate a lot of these guys going singles when we get to the barbell, just because their weight difference, they're 155-pound on the bar. They can all do it, but it may be wise to not hold on for these guys. And already first to the bar going singles.
This is Michelle Jean. We talked about Delaney Wade earlier. Michelle Jean is the other type 1 diabetic in this field, diagnosed at 14 years of age back in 2018. Had to break it to him. He said, I want to be the first type 1 diabetic to make it to the games. I said, well, there's 2 in the age groups. But it's cool for them to represent that community and compete, because it's a really difficult thing to do. Depending, especially on a sprint, your blood sugars can fly up or down, and you have to monitor that because it can get really scary.
Joel, you understand that? You were recently diagnosed with that past year, so you absolutely understand what these athletes are going through, having something else to monitor and watch.
Working through these 155-pound, basically ground overheads, but it is listed as a clean and jerk.
So for these athletes, a little bit younger, weigh a little less, a lot of them are doing the jerk, re-dipping underneath because they need to. And that's just a way to make a successful lift.
Here goes David Bradley, the champion 2 years ago. 2 athletes going to work here on the sled push. It's David Bradley in lane 11. He's got some company behind him from Nate Ackerman in lane 9. And then it is Jean down in lane 3. Those are the 3 on your screen right now. Really solid effort for David Bradley to make some moves here at the end of the day. He came into day 2 in 2nd place overall. David Bradley will be in podium contention. Make some noise for the fella. He asks for it before falling to the ground.
Well, he finished up yesterday's day 1 of competition with a 1st place finish in that snatch event with a 262-pound snatch. And he's wrapping up day 2 in this similar fashion.
The golden locks of Gustavo Pusch pushing across. The Brazilian is done. He was your day 1 overall leader at the end of competition. Baker at the bottom of your screen trudging through, and look at the way that he grabs those handles on the sled lower, trying to get lower center of gravity to push. Kind of rear in the air, body down.
All posterior chain right there. Keeping the upper body locked.
5-minute cap, about 1 minute and 10 seconds left. We're not going to need that. Everybody is on the sled push at the moment. I keep going back to Evan, by the way, because he's got a good coach.
The name of the game is really just keep that sled moving. Make sure that if you don't want to stop and start, and the restarting of the sled is not what you want. So, final 42 feet to go.
Lane 17, Miguel Buzarru. Out of Kronos CrossFit in Brazil. He's got to get it across the blue into the white here. And Buzarru gets that chip timer across before falling to the ground. but it's David Bradley who wins. Everyone finishes. Everyone must feel like Stone Cold Steve Austin as they're laying on the ground, cracking a cold Monster water.
Similar to our earlier heat, we had somebody to the barbell first who was not your winner. It was Jean to the barbell first. He went singles, but once Bradley got through the barbell, he was fast and he was able to keep himself moving, locked himself in, and it came down to the sled for him. Even though he had some company on that field with the sled, he was able to wrap up a second first place finish in this event, or in this competition.
David Bradley with a mandate.
First of all, David, I think you have the loudest cheering section I've ever heard. I've covered a lot of events. They're really loud.
They're awesome. I love them.
They're so proud of you, as they should be. I want to talk to you about the sled push, the last movement of this particular event. How are you feeling? What were you thinking during those moments?
Okay. Honestly, to start, I was like, it's not that bad. Then I got about halfway. The lactic acid started to build real quick. But the last section, last 25 feet, probably the hardest sled push I've ever done. So.
And can you see your competition, like out of the corner of your eye? Do you know how close they are?
So I looked down and I was able to look around my shoulder. I saw one coming right up on me. I put my head down and put on that game face, and I wasn't going to stop. So.
I was going to say, you know you can't stop at that point.
Of course not.
Great job out there.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. David Bradley puts himself in serious contention with another event win. Same thing, Tanya, as you mentioned, that he did to close out day one. He closes out day two, the only boy to finish under 3 minutes. And Nate Ackerman and Rukvi Vunesen are the two people that are at the top of the leaderboard with him. So jockeying for 5 points, that makes a big difference here.
A lot of pressure going into the final day of competition tomorrow.
One of the best performances for Jean, and Omri Meller as well, with one of his best finishes coming in with that fifth place cap. That's his best finish on the week so far. Flip it over to the women, still on event 6, but women 40 to 44. They're next here at North Park. Event 6 here at the North Park in Madison, Wisconsin of the NOBULL CrossFit Games. The women 40-44 Masters Division. Alongside the 2009 CrossFit Games champion Tanya Wagner, Amanda Krenz is our reporter down on the field. My name is Joel Godet. Sixth and final event of the day. There are cuts looming as we move through the day tomorrow, the final day for the age groups. So performance critical here for a number of reasons, and it's all about a sprint.
Sprint, how fast can you move through 24 calories in the rower and then 15 clean and jerks at 105 pounds, followed by that sled push. Now the ladies are going to have 125 pounds, on the sled to push down a 120-foot field.
Lana Simons, Rachel Green out of the age group online qualifier was the #1 seed. Kelly Friel has been at the top of the leaderboard over the last couple of days. Anna Kaldish was #1 coming into day 2. Of course, Becca Voigt-Miller has been to the CrossFit Games in some capacity more than anybody in any division. Stephanie Waugh is a former champion here at the Masters level. There is Becca Voigt-Miller. Now, we say she's been here more than anyone. This is her 13th appearance in any division. Tanya, she's never won. Could this be the year?
Could be, 2 times she's placed here at the Masters, 3rd, so she's been on the podium. She knows what that feels like. This could be her year. Coming into today in 2nd place, solidly there. And, looking at this is a great event. There's some strong women here for her, but she's just one of those athletes that consistently, she doesn't let the leaderboard shake her up. Doesn't let movement shake her up. She will be fine in it. It's just a matter of, how fast are the others?
Was talking to our colleague Tommy Marquez before the games and said the one thing that's eluded her is being on top of the podium. Would she think her career is a failure? No, that would be ridiculous. She said she'd love to win. It would not bother her greatly if it never happened, but let's be honest, as fans of the sport, boy, it'd be cool to see.
I've wanted to see it. She's just a fantastic athlete. She puts the work in, she works on the things she needs to, and you're just solid is really the word I have for her in all areas. Being able to compete for as many years as she can and not to burn out. There is a component mentally that she has that not everyone has, and can she just taps into that.
Inside 30 seconds left to go here. Judges are resetting the monitors. Athletes do not touch the monitor. And until 3, 2, 1 go, athletes do not touch the paddle on the rower as well.
This event is the same as the men's. Go fast, pull hard here on the rower, and be ready.
And we're underway here on event 6, the final event here on day #2 at the CrossFit Games for the age groups. You'll see Lizzie Carson in lane 15 down your screen. Eye on her from the get-go here because this is a rowing workout. And Lizzie Carson happens to own a rowing gym, Concept Fitness in New York. She competed at the 2021 Indoor World Rowing Championships. Met her husband, Rob, when she was competing at regionals. Rob reached out to her on Instagram, the best DM slide-in of all time. Said he thought she was awesome, so reached out to her. He had fallen in love with rowing. She fell in love with rowing because wanted to be coached by that guy. It has all worked out. She is one of the best out there in this field. There's Becca Voigt-Miller. Carson is the first with a judge's hand in the air. Becca Voigt's judge has his hand in the air as well. Anna Kaldish has jumped off the rower, however, first. She was first overall coming into the day, right in the middle of your field, the Invictus athlete, and look at her just rip 105 pounds off the ground.
And this speed, she's pulling that barbell off. She's also doing the push press, which is saving her legs for later on that sled, so it shows her strength, her capacity, ability to move that, and it's not even like that's hard. She's actually flashing her grip at the top, so that barbell is no issue, and I don't anticipate that sled to be either.
And wasting no time on the descent as well, just barely grazing her hips. It's just a controlled drop for Anna Kaldish.
A lot of pull and not a lot of leg. It's not the efficient way to move it, but it's the smart way to move it in this event with a sprint here on the sled.
Kaldish ended day 1 with an event win. That was in the max snatch event. Trying to end day 2 with an event win as well. But you can immediately see how heavy that sled is with a 45-pound weight on top of it.
She has a strong lead, though. Big gap. No one else is even. Now someone's touched the sled, but she's well ahead of the rest.
That's Rachel Green. And then Becca Voigt.
Center of the field.
Okay. That's Kelly Friel, who's coming up from the back in lane 9.
Friel gives the old hold up.
Caldish is slowing down, now senses Friel. Caldish finding a burst of energy, and she had enough left in the tank. Oh, if Friel was about 4 lanes over, she might have been okay, but right on Caldish's hip, she sensed the pressure and kicked into high gear.
Fantastic move, being able to just kick it into gear like that. I was unsure if she had that ability or capacity in her. She did, but man, Friel gave it a go.
Looks like everyone's starting to come across within 2 or 3 seconds of one another. It's a 5-minute time-capped event. We will not make it to 4 minutes before all of these athletes have completed. A sprint takes its toll on you. Lizzie Carson took a break on the sled push, now back up and has her second wind. Able to thrust through toward the finish. Sled push, one of those things, Tanya, where it just wears you down. If you take a second, you have an extra boost.
Yeah, you know what? Just being able to breathe too on the sled push, just the lactic acid buildup is real. You just need to breathe so you need to get that oxygen moving and keep the blood flowing, just to keep that circulating. If you hold your breath to keep it moving, it just slows those muscles down and they lock up.
Alyssa Stuckey is our final athlete here out of CrossFit Kent Island in Stevenson, Maryland. Former gymnast at the University of Maryland. Fear the turtle. Stuckey is there. One final burst. No, she said her least favorite movement is rowing. She got through it in 4 minutes and 45 seconds. Big win, though, for Anna Caldish. And now this is multiple divisions we've seen here at North Park, where the same person who capped day 1 with a win caps day 2 with a win. A little bit of a closing gene.
It's all about strength. It was last night and same today. Just the powerful movement through the rower, and then, man, this barbell is where Caldish just moved it like it was a breeze. That really is 105 pounds on the bar, but for her, that is lightweight. Made such quick work of that time, and then got after the sled. Caught her breath really early on the sled pushes. Had that pressure from Friel, who sprinted on the sled, and once she felt the pressure, dug in, kicked into second gear, and made that final push. Was able to keep the lead.
Anna is down with Amanda.
I was just telling Anna that sometimes it's difficult for me to get athletes after these types of events because I know you're literally just floored. You're so tired, and you had to use some extra gas at the end.
Yeah, so the beginning of the event was a good one for me. I'm a really good rower. I'm really strong. I'm moving the barbell fast as well as heavy. And then when I got on the sled, there's another day of competition, so I noticed that nobody was around me. So I tried to just keep it moving, non-stop, but not extremely fast. But then I saw Kelly come behind, and I was like, no, not today. And I just took it all the way to the end zone.
So you did have some gas left in the tank, and you used it, obviously, because you had to.
I used it, for sure. My legs did not work at the end, and I just felt like I wanted to puke.
Anna, how are you feeling so far through the competition?
I have to admit I'm pretty beat up. Not so much from the events, although from the events as well, but just the amount of time that we have to stay, the amount of time we have to wait in between events. That makes it really hard for someone who's a little older to recover properly. So eating and resting are key things as you age, and this makes it's a real challenge.
Yeah, those are really important things. I'll let you finish with something you wanted to say in Portuguese.
Yeah, I just wanted to send something back to Portugal. Grande beijinho a todos. Obrigado pelo apoio. Tem sido excelente. Temos 3 pessoas aqui esta vez. Quem sabe na próxima temos mais. Beijinhos.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I got obrigado, so there was a thank you in there. That's my one word of Portuguese.
I'm proud of you. It's more than me.
Anna Caldas with an event victory. Good for her. She's healthy. She was not healthy when she was here in 2018. Had a shoulder injury, so it limited her performance. Able to show on full display now what she's capable of. And she beats out Kelly Friel. Rachel Green made a great push here on day 2. Sets herself up nicely after a tough day 1. And then Lizzie Carson, thought that was going to happen. It's a rowing event. Wheelhouse. There she is in 4th. Next up for the women, drop it down in age bracket, 35 to 39 here at North Park. The women 35 to 39. The event is the same that we just saw for the 40 to 44-year-olds. The sled push has been the ultimate difference maker here, Tanya. That doesn't surprise you.
But it just starts on the rower with a little clean and jerk in the middle. And really, the athletes that are performing really well in this event are those strong powerhouse athletes that have that gusto, have the strength to just drive that sled down the field after moving that heavy barbell.
Overall leader coming into the day was Whitney Gallin. She is still your overall leader in lane 10. Kelly Jackson out of CrossFit Gambit in lane 9. Lauren Gravatt, Californian, flanking Whitney Gallin here. Toughest competition as far as the leaderboard is concerned. Brianna Gaipa qualified for the games last year in lane 17, putting off her debut here until 2021. There is Whitney Gallin. What can't she do? Dominated with the sandbag squats. Then we said, hey, how's the hand walking going to be? Was great there. She gets in the lake and swims. If they had a softball toss like they did years past, obviously she would crush that.
And look at this event overall. Just, I really, this is hers to lose.
Underway, there is Michelle Palmer, the owner of CrossFit Savo in Idaho Falls. Looking to cap off her second day, put herself in contention here. Again, there are cuts looming.
Palmer has that big pull. She's leaning back early to save the leg there. She's aggressive. A lot of these ladies just using their height, getting that full extension back, but strong early pull. Because when it comes to the end of this, pushing a sled, you don't need your lats for that. But look at Whitney Gallin, smooth, not out of control. You don't need to have this high stroke rate to be the first one off of the rower. You really just need your pull to be consistent to keep the flywheel going. So you should be afraid when Whitney Gallin looks that composed.
Well, the first person to come off the rower is on the outside. That is Michelle Palmer. We talked about rowing at the beginning. Nicole Corriero comes off the rower very quickly at the opposite side of the field. So the two edges right now are your leaders. There's Corriero, maybe one of the more, I don't want to say mainstream, but mainstream high-profile athletes competing in this age division. The all-time leading ice hockey goal scorer in NCAA history. Actually won an ESPY in 2005 as the best collegiate athlete in the country. Corriero makes her CrossFit Games debut. She and Palmer setting the tempo here. And Palmer very segmented here on the clean and jerk, Tanya, but she's really efficient with it.
She is. She's bending a lot, saving the leg, a lot of pull from the upper body. Typically, we wouldn't say that, but it's the faster way to go. We wouldn't say that's the best technique, but it's the fastest way to go. And she is proving to be the fastest, but right beside her, in the middle, is Whitney Gallin.
And Whitney Gallin's got a little bit more tempo. This is going to come down to whether or not Palmer can hold her off.
Look at Whitney Gallin. She is using her full foot on the ground. Now, she just came up to the toe as opposed to Palmer, who was all toe. You're going to fatigue your calves early on. Gallin went back to the full step. When you get to do that, you're using more hamstring, more glute. That's a veteran move right there.
Gallin is leaning everything she has into the sled. Palmer just needs a little bit more. To the white is the finish line, and Whitney Gallin, over the course of the North Park field, edges out an event win in event number 6.
What a composed sprint for Whitney Gallin.
In about 2 minutes and 45 seconds, give me the water.
So impressive. But man, I gotta give it to Palmer. She went at it, and she was was aggressive. She gave it everything she had. Man, good race for the 35 to 39-year-old women.
3 athletes continue to push the sled. Colleen Lehane will come onto your screen on the right here, victorious in event 5. That was the swim outside, as opposed to the swim inside.
The fatigue is set in. We're trying different grips here. She had a high position. Not the most efficient way to be driving that sled. And you know what? Sometimes you're leaning a little bit high. It lifts. If you're not keeping it flat, you're really going to be working so much harder. So something that she will definitely probably go back and work on, because this is a move that we see and we have for a long time in competition. For the Masters, they're getting a taste of it. Gallin came over to give a little advice. I'd listen to it.
Palmer and Gallin.
Having a chuckle.
I don't know if Michelle Palmer's really laughing about it, but Whitney Gallin is.
Yeah, I got to give it to Palmer, though. She was aggressive. You know, knowing who she's competing against, she gave it everything there speed-wise that she could. She sacrificed some of the form, some of the technique, a little bit wobbly. You know, and that is costly. But knowing that Gallin, so solid, it was going to be right there with her, she really tried to get herself ahead and give herself as much room as possible. But Gallin just grinded it out. Fantastic technique when it came to the sled, recruiting as much of that posterior chain as she could, and just choppy steps, steady steps all the way through the finish line.
Whitney Gallin with Amanda.
Everybody saw me take my retainer out, right? Okay, that's cool.
Whitney, you've been having a great week so far. I don't want to tell people what you just did, so I'll keep it up here. Athlete secrets. You're, like I said, having a great week. Your expertise and your experience as a CrossFit athlete really shined through in that last event there. We're watching you look at the competition as you're pushing that sled. What was going through your mind?
Well, I knew Michelle was going to be so great at that event. We're both bigger athletes, so I knew it was going to be a dogfight at the end. I think we were both using each other to go as fast as we could.
Like I said, it's been great to watch you so far this week. How are you feeling about the tests of fitness that you've had so far, and what your expectations are moving forward?
Gosh, I think it's been such a fun weekend. Very well programmed. I think we have another great tough day ahead of us that's also very well programmed.
How does this compare to your other CrossFit experiences over the years?
I think you hit the head on the nail in being more experienced. I think as an indie, I would warm up way too much and then be exhausted by the time I got out there, and kind of more seasoned with the way I'm treating my body, and it's definitely helping.
Awesome. Great job out there.
Thank you so much. I love you, 12 State.
In fairness, we did hear Whitney talk about, but it's fine. Champions wear retainers. Champions protect their teeth. Nothing wrong with that. Whitney Gallin wins the event. 241. It was much closer than that scoreboard reads. April Payne, good finish. And then Nicole Corriero, who we showed you coming off the rowers second, winds up finishing fourth. Final heat of the day. for both the women and the age groups out here at the North Park. Closeout day 2 of competition. Girls 16 and 17 coming your way from Madison, Wisconsin. North Park, Madison, Wisconsin, the final event of the day in the age groups brings us to the girls 16 and 17-year-olds. Tanya Wagner, this is a 5-minute time-capped event. We have not needed 5 minutes in most any group so far.
We haven't, and for these ladies in the 16 to 17-year-old division, they have a 105-pound bar that they'll do their 15 clean and jerks. I do expect that to be a bit slower than we just saw from the older women. And that sled push, that will be a little bit more challenging for these girls, I anticipate, but I still think that 5-minute time cap will be plenty for these ladies.
By the way, one blue, 45 pounds on the sled if you're unfamiliar with weightlifting colors and weights. As you look at the lane assignments, Emma Lawson is your overall leader. The Canadian competed in the semifinals in the Atlas Games in the individual division. She is in the middle in lane 10. Being pushed by Olivia Sulek, also a semifinal competitor in the Mid-Atlantic CrossFit Challenge. She is in lane 11. Paulina Haro is incredibly strong. They call her the girl who lifts a lot. Down in Mexico, she did do very well in the snatch event yesterday. So too did Jadzia Onorati Phillips. She is in 6th place overall coming into today, then dominates the swim and puts herself into podium contention here. If you've never met anybody named Jadzia before, it is Polish for war battle, but her mother is a Star Trek fan, and she's named after Jadzia Dax, the character from Star Trek. War battle's not too bad of a name for sports as well.
I'd go with that. Yeah, you know what? That's pretty tough right
30
there.
seconds.
Live up to your namesake there.
Emma Lawson is your overall leader. Not only that, she is your overall leader. Emma Lawson has finished 1st or 2nd or 3rd in every event so far.
10 seconds.
That's out of a field of 19.
Stand by.
Expecting Emma here to use her length to her advantage. Just get that full pull on the rowing handle and use the length in her legs and her arms. Finishing that stroke all the way back. For these ladies who don't weigh as much, there always is a mass advantage on the rower. So we'll see times a little bit over that of the 35 to 39-year-old division. No surprise there. It'll be the way they execute, this row and just staying composed. I love seeing that from this division. In a sprint, it's so easy to kind of get ahead of yourself and just kind of lose control. And just showing that these ladies, they're settled into competition. We're at the end of day 2. And they're really able to show their capacity, show what their mental abilities still are here in this event.
A couple of hands are up in the air in lanes 2 and 3 here for the girls 16 and 17 years of age. And right on to the clean and jerks at 105 pounds. Claire Doty on the right side of your screen. Aubriana Montplaisir on the left side of your screen was in 17th coming into the start of day 2.
Both athletes just holding onto that bar. Very fast. I don't know if that's smart or not yet. Are they caught in their own race? But there, look at Emma Lawson. So smooth with that barbell. Elbows can whip under so fast. Very efficient. She looks controlled.
It's almost a child's play weight for her.
It's so controlled.
And it's not to say that the weight has been programmed any less because this is a teenage division. That's the same weight we just saw the 35-year-olds do.
It's the efficiency, though, and
Emma Lawson's in the middle. She was being challenged from the outside, but Lawson pushes in front. And Olivia Sulek actually pushing way out in front. Lawson was in front of her on the clean and jerks, but it's Olivia Sulek who gets to the sled and fires. You can see Lawson in the background, short stagger steps, Sulek just leaning into it and flying down the North Park field. Olivia Sulek picks up an event win and closes the gap between the one she's chasing.
that was big for Sulek.
It's also big because the field kind of catching up to Lawson there, and there may have been one or two girls that file in between Sulek and Lawson, and that creates a time gap. Points could be had between them, helping Sulek climb up the leaderboard.
That was big for Sulek, but man, she just dug in when we got to the sled. She knew how to push that and be so efficient.
It's going to be such an interesting race here in the 16 and 17-year-old division, not just between Sulek and Lawson, but that third podium spot's going to be really interesting. We showed you Onorati Phillips beforehand. The difference between her and Claire Truax, who was in third prior to this event, was just 20 points. So you've got four young ladies vying to try to get up there with Sulek and Lawson. As the field starts to clear here, as we encroach on the 4-minute mark. Everybody will finish for the girls in ages 16 and 17 here in event number 6. But it's Olivia Sulek, all the way from Cincinnati, Ohio, and ESF CrossFit.
But for this sprint, Dodie was the first one off of the rower. She got right to that barbell and started cranking alongside Montplay Stewart. But once it was the sled, Sulek was getting pushed by Dodie, but Sulek, big strides, kept her head down, just dug in, and she was just cruising. Dominant performance here. It's what she needed. She's in second place, and that is big. It's a big win for her to wrap up day 2 of competition.
Let's go talk to Olivia Sulek. She's down with Amanda.
Olivia, what was your plan coming into this very fast event today?
No plan, just sprint as fast as you can, just go. I love these type of workouts. I've won like 3 workouts at the games, and they've all been just those sprint grinds, don't need to think, just go.
How are you feeling by the time you get to the sled in this event?
Your quad's just gone. The quads have already gone through a lot this weekend, so they were tired coming in. But just grinding, I knew I was in the lead, and there was no way I was slowing down.
Overall, what do you think of the CrossFit Games for you so far this year? How have they gone?
I've had a lot of personal wins, a lot of ups. There has been some downs, but I'm really proud of myself, how I'm doing. So I have one more day to fight, give it my all, fight for the top spot.
Good luck to you.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
It's my kind of girl right there. What's your plan? No plan. No plan at all. Head down, let's go to work.
Plan is go. That she did.
Olivia Sulek wins by 13 seconds over Claire Doty, and then Emma Lawson came in behind. And Sulek caught her because Emma Lawson was moving through the clean and jerks.
She did. I mean, she really did. She was smooth. You know, she was real fast on that barbell. And Doty, too. I mean, she blew past Doty to get to that sled. Great speed. Don't think, just go.
And then Onorati Phillips beats everybody else ahead of her on the leaderboard except for Sulek and Lawson. So that makes up for an interesting podium race as you head into the third and final day tomorrow. But that's it. 2 days in the books. That went by fast. It all started this morning at 8 o'clock. It ends at almost 6 local time, Central Standard Time here in Madison, Wisconsin. All comes down to the one final day, Thursday, here at the 2021 NOBULL CrossFit Games. We're going to crown some champions. Join us for it tomorrow. For Amanda Krenz and Tanya Wagner, our entire crew, my name is Joel Gadet. So long from Madison, Wisconsin. We'll talk to you on Thursday.